Welcome back.
Hey.
Terrible news.
What?
The Pope.
Oh,
The Pope is dead.
the Pope is dead.
And confirmed,
Long-
JD Vance
Killed him. The Pope is dead. Long live the Pope. Long live Francis. You know, because we were just like, when Sarah came in today, I was listening to Material Girl by Madonna. So we were dancing around to that. And it's like, yeah, the illusion is like we're material girls in this material world. But I remember I went to see, oh my God, can I tell like a little bit of a crazy story?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was like briefly dating a young gentleman whose age we shall not say right now. And he was like an artist, well, whatever. And he was like, he was like, we should go see Moulin Rouge. And I was like, really? I was like, you want to see Moulin Rouge, the musical? He was like, yeah, we should go. So we went. And afterwards, he was like really shocked. He was like, I thought that was about the art, supposed to be about the artist Baudelaire. And I was like, you never heard of the movie starring Ewan McGregor and Nicole Kidman? And he was like, he had no idea. But anyway, that's not the point. The point was, it's like a jukebox musical where it's so bad. But there's this one point where the lead what's her name? Celine.
I literally tried to watch 10 minutes of that movie, and I was like
So Baz Luhrmann is like allegedly, because I know people who've worked with him, like really coked out seeming, which you would think based on his work.
Checks out.
But he's like actually not on cocaine.
Okay.
Which is kind of cool. So anyway, in the musical, she sings Material Girl. And it was like so somehow like I almost started weeping in the theater because it was so sad and so depressing and so craven that, you know, like, what is it? What's the line about like these rocks? Like,
Oh, from the song?
yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like these pear-shaped, these rocks won't lose their shape. And I was like, oh my God, thanks. I was like, oh, right. Because if we're a material girl living in a material world, the most important thing we have is like all of these material things, you know, like our shape. Anyway, it's like really depressing, which is why we have to believe in something greater like Pope Francis.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you took us on a wild ride.
I just feel like
Dating a younger man, go to Moulin Rouge, misunderstands, you know, under false pretenses, material girl, Pope Francis.
But that's the thing, is that like if we solely live in the material world, like not all of us can get those rocks. You know what I mean? And so then what we're left with is like the inevitable melting of flesh, you know, which is unavoidable. So you better find your treasures out in heaven, right? We shall not build our house on a foundation of sand.
Sorry, I think we have to stop because of the car.
I know, that was so good.
I know. It kind of made no sense, but okay, let's just pause for a second. I'm sorry. Okay, recording.
Sorry, we're back because that car was oppressing us in the material world.
Live from New York.
With its honking. So sorry about that.
So, Pope Francis. Say more.
I mean, the man every year went to a prison in Rome and washed the prisoners' feet. And then one year, I think it was a couple years ago, he washed this female prisoner's feet on Good Friday. And then he kissed her feet.
You can't get more Christ-like than that.
You cannot get more Christ-like. And like when I see JD Vance roll up with his like manicured eyebrows and his like tell-all ragging on his mother who carried him and birthed him into this world, to me that man's looking real far from Christ.
Yeah, like I'm sorry, but like if Jesus Christ came back, he would hate you, JD Vance.
Yeah, he would cast you out of the temple, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But I was like, I know my tone is flipped because I'm like a little, like ramped up on my seltzer. But I was very upset when I heard about the Pope.
We all were.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, I guess I yeah, I loved him.
He was really a man of the people. The Catholic Church's Princess Di, if you will.
I mean, I think he's like the Jerry Brown of popes. You know what I mean? You know, Jerry Brown, twice-time governor of California, a man who like gave all for public service, who was like living in the city of Oakland back when living in Oakland, and I'm from the Bay Area, was like not a look that upper middle class white people were choosing. You know, I really think like that's a man who dedicated himself to public service. Like Francis, he dedicated himself to serving God.
He's going to be buried in an undecorated tomb, marked only with the name Francis in Latin, not in the Vatican.
Not in the Vatican. This is a man of the people.
I cried when I read that. Yeah. It was very moving.
I mean, I could start crying right now if I start like washing this female prisoner's feet. You know what I mean?
He was on the phone every single day with the Christian congregation in Palestine.
That's right.
Even when he was in the hospital.
That's right.
Yeah. It's going to be very interesting to see where things go from here.
Yeah, I was like, so originally I was like, I'm going to reread all his cyclicals from the last 12 years, but instead I just like rewatched Conclave, which
same thing
is similar, and that movie is mad good. If you have not seen it, that is a film executed by professionals. There is not one frame, not one sound cue, not one cut that isn't locked in. It's like, it like made me like believe, you know, in Hollywood again.
Yeah, I feel like the real message of Conclave is that actors should not be getting plastic surgery, because Isabella Rossellini did all of that just with her face. She had like 3 lines and she was acting with her face.
And you know what I think else it's telling us? Don't give parts to Nepo babies.
Wait.
I guess she is a fucking Nepo baby. She's like the original Nepo baby. Damn.
So you were like...
I guess I was thinking of Ralph Fiennes, who I'm just like, that man, he's just an actor. He didn't get it because of his mommy and daddy. But I guess Isabella Rossellini, ultimate Nepo baby. So look at me. Shame on me.
I think the Nepo baby, it's just, there's too many.
There's too many. They got to winnow them down. They got to separate the wheat from the chaff. That's really their problem in Hollywood.
Yeah, Isabella Rossellini, she earned it, I would say.
I mean, her parents are so cool. They're unassailable. You know what I mean?
But like that bitch walked completely naked through the streets of Blue Velvet.
That's right.
She earns it.
That's right. You know what's interesting is we don't need to get into this. I was going to talk about David Lynch and stuff, but like, let's not. I mean, the way that man we were actually just talking about Mulholland Drive, Sarah and I. He cast Naomi Watts on Mulholland Drive just by looking at her headshot.
Yeah, he had an amazing intuition. I'm a huge David Lynch fan.
I am too. And look, bro, because of him, I started doing TM. But then here's the thing, brother. Once he got really into the TM, he stopped making the movies. You know what I mean?
Well, isn't that like what we all aspire to? Is like the depletion of ego, you know?
Yeah, but at the
serenity.
Sacrifice of like incredible art to give to the populace, like that is egoism, right? Getting so elevated in my humility that I stopped making the work for the benefit of others.
But I mean, also he's getting older. Maybe he was just slowing down.
I know. Maybe. But it's the correlation to me seems strong.
Okay, we'll do some investigative reporting later on.
Totally.
I don't have enough information.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't have the timeline of David Lynch's TM journey.
This is all, I just want to tell you, this is all based on feelings and fleeting thoughts on my part.
Yeah.
I have no hard evidence to lay out for anybody here, but yet I believe I'm correct.
All we have is our intuition at the end of the day.
For sure. For sure.
I really appreciate Pope Francis's emphasis on one of my favorite things that he said was like, we got to move away from the sins of the flesh. The flesh is the weakest part of the body, okay? Sins of the flesh are not the gravest sins. You know, we got to think about exploitation, you know, like all this other economic sins, environmental sins, you know.
He was a fighter for climate justice, which I think is like, to me, doesn't make sense with the cohort specifically of the evangelical Christian part of the American right, which is like over and over again in the Bible, we're told to like be good stewards to the world. Like this idea of stewardship is deeply rooted in the Bible. And that seems like a total abdication of responsibility on the part of these like allegedly super religious leaders in the political right in the United States, where they're just like, drill, baby, drill. It's like, do you read your Bible?
Yeah, totally. I mean, that's why Pope Francis was so divisive, because he came in and he was like, I don't care about the politics. I don't care about, he's like, I want to serve. I want to be, I want the church to serve the people that Christ was concerned with, the poor.
You know what? You know what Christ said? Christ said, it is more likely for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven.
Damn.
That's Christ. Direct quote.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's really talking about that too much. You know what I mean?
No.
In the Republican Party.
He was the first pope to use the word gay.
Didn't he also use
the word faggotry? But, you know, I talked to a couple of gay men about this, and they were like, it's cool. Like, he said it in a way that, like, another gay man would say, you know? So, like, they felt like it was more, like, inside. Like, he was kind of like, all right, everyone, you know?
I have to say that part of Conclave that I really loved was, like, kind of the camaraderie of these bros who've been, like, literally hanging out for, like, 40 years. Do you know what I mean? Who, like, they don't have families. They don't have, like, they've just been kicking it with each other. And you know what was really tight about the movie? They kept like apologizing to each other. They'd be like, may I ask for forgiveness? You know, like they would do something kind of cunty. And then like 2 scenes later, they would be like, please forgive me.
I'm going to start doing that with my husband. May I ask for forgiveness? Just being very formal about it.
I was just
kissing
like,
his feet.
Yeah. I was just like, I respect that. Do you know what I mean? I respect that. There's not all this like one-upsmanship and like, I don't know. Every time I look at social media, I'm just like, everybody's like, I'm a right. You know what I mean? And that's like the end of the conversation.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not, there's no give and take there. You can't always be right, bitch. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. I did try to go to church. I haven't really been going to church regularly for like many years. And I did try to go to church kind of recently. And I was reading Brothers Karamazov, and I just read this part where one of the characters is talking about their interpretation of, you know, when Christ goes into the desert for 40 days and 40 nights. And so that was the reading at church, and I was like psyched. I was like, okay, like can't wait to hear the homily.
Those motherfuckers be dry. Am I right?
Not this guy.
Oh, no?
He gets up. He's like, okay, so, you know, Christ, 40 days, 40 nights, da-da-da. Says a couple of things, and then he goes, and, you know, as many of you know, before I took holy vows, I was an actor. And through the grace of the Jesuits, they have encouraged me to continue to pursue my creative talents. And so today, I'd like to share a little bit about my theater troupe with you all. I was shocked, okay?
Not an actor becomes a Jesuit and then holds up the pulpit talking about his acting troupe.
The mass was actually a fundraiser for his theater troupe. Like, they sent around a second basket.
No, brother.
He was like,
primary.
Last year, we did the one-man show of the Gospel of Mark, of which I played Mark. And I was just like, oh my God, this is like why I don't go to church anymore.
See, to me, that's social media has so infected the consciousness of our society that even a Jesuit priest thinks it's okay to do self-promotion anytime, anywhere. That doesn't show me about the Catholic Church. That shows me about Instagram.
Maybe it's like New York City too.
Damn, that would really ruin it for me. I went to this Easter service. I was like, this shit's like 2 hours long. You know, I was like, thank God I didn't bring my kids. You know,
was it a Catholic church?
Yeah. I was St. Ignatius of Loyola.
Oh yeah, you told me about this.
And I just forgot that I'm like really bad at sitting still. But I'm glad to go. I found the homily dry, but I kind of accept that if you're gonna go to a Roman Catholic church, the pomp and circumstance factor is gonna be high, but the speaking will be dry, and that's just the balance.
Yeah.
I mean, if there were a church with both.
I went to a mass with a friend downtown with a younger priest.
Yeah, but I'm always suspicious of them. What do you say?
I don't really remember, to be honest. But the vibe of the church was there was modern music, which
No.
I really have a problem with. And
No.
especially in a city like New York.
And don't bring out your guitar. Don't think you're going to bring out a guitar.
We don't want some
Peter,
singer,
Paul, and Mary with me.
songwriter
You know what I mean?
acts. Yeah, well, in New York, too, you have, like, all these people in the choir who are, like, probably auditioning for Broadway. So they're really using the mass as, like, their time to shine. They're solo.
But, like, I can be down with that if they're singing some Latin shit.
No, I want one old lady with a terrible voice who's just, like, up there being like, ah, you know? And it's terrible, but everyone's just, like, singing along, you know?
I have a controversial question, which is, like, what are white people to do when black church is just so much better?
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of the vibe that I feel like, oh no, that at the church with the actor priest, we had a lot of the songs were like African American
spiritual.
Yeah. And I kind of felt like it was cultural appropriation.
Like there's a bunch of white folks singing that?
Yeah, I kind of feel like as a white person, we just have to deal with our shitty music, you know?
Totally. Did you see the movie Sinners?
No.
Okay. Well, people are like, it's doing pretty well. I saw it last weekend. And in it, there's like kind of that exact situation happens where they're like making fun of white people for having bad music. In a way where you're like, yeah.
They say white people don't have a culture, but we do. And it's shitty church music. And
no, man, have you heard some like, no, because if you sing like Gloria Excelsis, like in Chelsea Deo, and you do it with like a 12-part choir and you're fucking trained up the ass and you got like 360 surround, which is what I used to do in grade school because they were uptight with us and I knew how to read music as a child because they were so serious about choir. Like if you do that shit, no, that shit's working. Now, is it an everyday kind of thing that you want to hear all the time?
Hell no.
No, but like that will move the holiday spirit in you.
Of course.
I feel the Holy Ghost in my presence, you know?
Naturally.
Yeah, so it's just like, yes, across the board, I would say the black church is better. But we get some things. Do you know what I mean? There's always trade-offs.
We actually had a religion teacher in 6th grade who, I don't know where she came from, but she was like really into Christian music, which if you're Catholic, you know, like Christian rock is like not really a part of. Yeah, so she would like teach us all these songs, and we had like hand gestures and clapping.
No. If anybody starts doing this, I'm like, if white people start doing that, I'm like looking for the exits, man. Because like that's some Jonestown shit. It's only a couple steps.
Well, we were all doing it in mass, and Monsignor Franco like shut it down. He was like, "You cannot clap in church."
I mean, I get his point a little bit because the spirit will carry you. And to talk about crazy white people shit, my dad, can you see him? Oh, he's all the way over there. My dad, he used to speak in tongues at church.
In Catholic church?
No, bro, because he's from Virginia.
Yeah.
That's some, what are those motherfuckers called? Baptists. Mm-hmm. So he used to regularly go to church as a child and speak in tongues. And so I think what your Monsignor was saying is like, who knows what the journey is between clapping and speaking in tongues.
What did you say, Monsieur? Monsieur?
The Monsignor?
Monsignor?
Don't you say that the Monsignor was saying that you can't?
Monsignor? Is that like the Italian?
I guess so, yeah.
Monsignor. Yeah.
You just don't know. Here to there. Yeah, but I've tried to go to some of those like, what was that crazy one downtown on 14th Street? They have those hokey names and the really bad branding that looks like they pulled all their images off of like stock images.
Oh, like Hillsong?
Yeah. I tried to go to that, but that stuff, that's some Justin Bieber's pastors like maybe taking his money, fucking his wife. That's that kind of shit. You know what I mean?
I know. At the end of the day, like if you're not wearing like vestments.
Can we really trust you?
That's kind of how I feel.
I mean, I'm a through and through papist. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that's how I feel too. But I mean, I have to, like, lest I remind you, you know who's only the second Catholic president?
Joe Biden.
Joe Biden. That's how much people don't like Catholics.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So people were really suspicious. And I would be, and look at those converts like JD Vance out there killing the head of a church with their weird attitude and their scary makeup.
I know. I feel ashamed, but I do have prejudice against Catholic converts. I'm sorry, but I do. I know that's not Catholic of me.
I think there seems to be a social trend right now of converting to Catholicism as a signal of other deeply held conservative beliefs.
Yeah.
That's like a facade. So, I mean, I think or do you feel like you've always felt this way?
No, it's recent. I think with like the trad cath aesthetic on the rise. And just as someone who like grew up Catholic and like I don't feel like the Catholicism that I feel like is popular right now seems like pretty foreign to me.
Well, as somebody who grew up a frickin' militant atheist in godless San Francisco, which is me, and like my mom's family was Catholic because they're Polish, and that's, I believe, the first Catholic country, 1000 AD, they declared, which whatever. I mean, I'm one of those people, Sarah.
Yeah, and I'm prejudiced against you. That's what I'm saying. Like, I was 12 years old reading like the autobiography of Saint Therese of Lisieux. You know, like
that's some wild shit.
I was thinking when I was 7, I was like, I want to be a nun, you know, like I was in it.
You were in it. Mm-hmm. So you don't want people to like just stolen valor over here pretending to be Catholic.
I just want them to do the work. Like, are we reading the lives of the saints? Are we, you know, like really thinking of like, I want, you know, like Dorothy Day, an exception to the rule. Mm-hmm. Amazing Catholic convert.
There's hope for us.
Yeah.
Is there hope for JD Vance?
I think confirmed he's the Antichrist.
I think I mean, did you see those photos?
Yeah.
I mean, the Pope was like, it didn't look good. That's never a reaction that I usually have with somebody who I'm like neutral to excited to see.
No, the Pope didn't want to see him.
It's clear.
JD Vance stands for everything that Pope Francis was against. Like,
that's true.
Pope Francis was out there fighting for the migrants, fighting for the Palestinians, like
fighting for environmental justice. Yeah.
Blessing the poor, like all of these things that JD Vance abhors. Like,
yeah. How old was JD Vance when he converted? Was it after he sold out his mommy or before?
Wait, when you say he sold out his mommy, are you talking about his book?
Yeah.
I didn't read it.
I mean, anybody who disrespects their mother like that I'd be hard pressed to find God in their heart.
Yeah, like what did his mom do?
I mean, she was like a degenerate drug addict. He just like lays out all her dirty laundry.
Yeah, I mean,
there's just a lack of gratitude, I would say.
Totally.
Like,
I think, yeah.
Like, he exists because of that woman.
I think people have a right to tell their story. I think if he wasn't the Antichrist, I would allow him to like write his story, write about his parents.
See, this is where I go a little more Confucian, is like, I believe in filial piety. You know, some people are like, there's always this shit in the New York Times where they're just like, they're like, do you have to take care of your parents when they get older? Like, you don't have to take care of and I'm just like, bitch, that's the fucking deal, bro.
Yeah.
They gave you life. They raised you.
Yeah.
You take care of them.
Agreed. Like, I'm not going to schlep my loved ones off to a nursing home.
I know. I don't even know why I'm on this. Why am I on this show right now? Filial piety. Yeah, I just feel like that's something I would take from China. I'm taking that. That's one I'm taking from China, you know?
I just feel like as an artist, you know, I think your childhood, your parents, it's fair game. Now, do I think JD Vance,
it's tacky?
It's a little tacky, but
I think we maybe need to do an in-depth review
of his book. I think we should.
Okay.
Because actually I was talking to a friend about this who lived in West Virginia.
I met my first husband in West Virginia.
Oh, so you have you know what the vibe is.
Yeah, totally. I was literally out there. I'm actually not going to say what I was doing out there because it's a little inappropriate.
Okay.
But it was some real West Virginia kind of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was just saying in her experience that like she like couldn't get vegetables at the grocery store. She was like going around to all the grocery stores being like, why can't I get vegetables? And then she like asked someone and they were like, oh, because everybody here has their own garden.
Well, I was literally, my thought when you said that was like, why doesn't that bitch just grow them?
No. And so she was like saying that like in her experience, the people of West Virginia are like much more resourceful and like self-sufficient than I guess like JD slandered them to be. But I haven't read the book, so.
To be honest, I haven't read it either.
Oh, so you just know that he talked shit about his mother?
I just know that a big criticism he got was just like for throwing his mother under the bus for his own personal gain and fame. And that book, that made him famous. That got him that job, that senator job, that got him to Donald Trump, who, just to remind everybody, JD Vance used to hate and say terrible things about.
Yeah.
But, you know, he sold his soul to get close to the devil. And then he killed the fucking Pope.
He killed the fucking Pope. And now who knows? I mean, I'm nervous. I'm nervous about this conclave. Because there are a lot of people who feel like JD... I mean, I feel like it was not...
Here's why I'm not... I'm sorry. Please.
People were calling him like the anti-pope.
Yes, but he elected over 70% of the current cardinals that are in the college. So it's like he got that numbers stuffed in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they're going to vote the way that he would have voted.
Hopefully.
Smart, tactical.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, there's a lot of criticism of him on both sides because liberals are saying, like, why didn't he do more?
No, see, that's where those motherfuckers, they're short-sighted. Like, you have to open the door. You don't just push. Personally, I wouldn't just jump right into the freezing water. I know some people do that. But, like, you got to dip. You got to go gradual. You got to open possibility to change hearts and minds. So, like, what he did was, like, he didn't come down hard on any doctrines, put through any changes. He just, like, put it out in the ether. Maybe the gays, they're okay.
Who am I to judge?
That's literally what he said when he was asked, who am I to judge?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let he who lives in a glass house cast the first stone. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
So I think it was the right approach, personally.
Yeah, he was very concerned about unity. I mean, there's parts of the world, like, I've been reading a lot, like in Africa, where homosexuality, you know, it's like a very they're very opposed. There's a ton of stigma.
They just need more sitcoms. That's literally what did it for America. Do you remember when, like, the marriage equality stuff came out? Like, 5 years before, it was, like, unthinkable, unacceptable. But you know what changed hearts and minds there? Fucking sitcoms, bro. Mm-hmm. With, like, non-threatening, I think some gay people would say, like, kind of gay... What's that shit that they used to make black people do? Minstrelsy. Gay minstrelsy.
Like what sitcoms?
Modern Family.
Yeah.
Frickin' Will and Grace.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? And people were like, hey, maybe they're all right. I see them on my TV. They seem okay. You know what I mean? So that's where you just got to get, you know, in Africa.
Someone get on that ASAP. Yeah, totally. But I think that, like, for the sake of the United Catholic Church, he did not want to push that farther.
Wise.
But I think a lot of people felt comfortable going back to the church with, like, him, you know, allowing gay couples to be blessed. And my stance is, like, who are gay people hurting, you know, compared to, like, the hurt that other people are doing through, like to migrants, you know? Like, people are dying, you know? Like, we're dropping crazy-ass bombs and then being like, oh, you know? Like, you think Christ would drop a bomb?
I mean, Christ did say, I'm, like, really up on my quoting today. He's like, I did not come for peace. I came with the sword. So, like, he also said that. So, anyway, just because he said a lot of shit.
But it was a metaphor. He had no sword.
Totally
possible. He voluntarily allowed himself to be crucified. He did not fight back.
And then what I love, or not love, but, like, so moving is that in the 9th hour of his crucifixion, he said, like, even he had, that's why I was crying during conclave last night. Like, he said, like, Father, why hast thou forsaken me? You know, like even he had doubt, you know?
Oh, yeah. I have a quote.
Okay. I'll just say some stuff quick while you look for that quote, which is like, but I also feel like on the other side, like, you know, I'm a divorcee, so I'm not allowed to take communion. And like, would I like to participate in the sacrament of Holy Communion? Yeah.
But didn't Pope Francis, wasn't he like, I think it's fine?
He didn't do it in an official capacity, I don't believe. So it's like still, but like, I'm not tripping that hard. Like, that's cool. I messed up. Do you know what I mean? That's kind of on me.
I mean, I feel like you could just go and take it. Actually, at my friend's wedding, the priest was like really going above and beyond to like make the non-Catholics feel comfortable. He was cracking jokes. I mean, he was like a little bit acting like a stand-up comedian MC rather than a priest, but everyone felt so comfortable that like all of the non-Catholics got up to get communion.
No, bro.
Yeah.
They took the body and the blood.
And we're like,
they didn't.
Thank you.
No.
Dad giveaway. You're not a Catholic if you say thank you. This was the quote he said actually about Dorothy Day. The Lord longs for restless hearts, not bourgeois souls who are satisfied with what exists. I love that. Sick burn.
That is a sick burn.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I mean, I'm trying to think. I think in my daily life, you know, how can I make Francis proud?
Yeah, I think he really he followed in Christ's footsteps.
Yeah. And he was hella smart about it. I respect that.
Yeah.
So rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Papa Francis.
Go with God. We know you're there on some kind of seat up there with the angels. So.
And JD Vance, you will be held accountable for your crimes.
Yeah. Judgment Day will come for you. Okay. We'll be right back.
Okay, welcome back. Welcome to our very first guest,
Mr.
Alex Howe, man about town,
poet, and the most verbal straight man in New York City.
It's an extremely kind thing to say. A series, arguably, of kind things to say, and I hope to live up to half of it. I will not, however, be responding in verse.
Thank God.
Thankfully. or rhyme, unless accidental, probably.
So, Alex, how are you doing?
I have to say I have a little bit of hopefully constructive nervousness. I think it's my first ever podcast. I think I've been auditioning for podcasts in my mind for probably 15 years or so. And, you know, all of that kind of hard work has obviously led me to here. But yeah, I don't know. You guys picked a great name for the podcast, and the setup seems sick, and I think we should totally talk about our opinions and our lives.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to talk about my fucking life, but I want to hear about these queer vegan warriors gone wild.
Yeah, so what have you come to tell us about today, Alex?
So my latest obsession, which some people may have heard about, is the Zizians. My friend Ben says Zizians, which sounds like something from Queer Eye, but I'll stick with Zizians, I guess. Basically, it goes like this. My feeling is that the Manson family of our generation is happening now, and that if you haven't already heard about it, you will. So basically, the kind of quick way to get to it is this. Silicon Valley is a weird place, right? Berkeley, California is a weird place.
I want to say I'm from San Francisco. I went to Cal. I lived in Berkeley, and I can attest. It used to be weird in like a cool way. Like there's no public exposure laws. You can walk around naked, and like people would like go to the sex club called the Power Exchange, and like.
Oh, it's really called that?
Yeah, R.I.P.
Wait, did you ever go?
I think, was I conscious of going? No. May I have gone? Probably.
Is anyone ever conscious of being at the Power Exchange?
That's a fab question. What's great about the Power Exchange is there's like 3 floors. There's like the gay floor, the straight floor, and the mixed floor. So you can just kind of like, you can watch, you can participate, you can go to the glory hole. You know what I mean? Like we're talking about, I mean, we were just talking about Pope Francis and stuff.
Endless possibilities.
But also you could engage in completely hedonistic, horrifyingly unchristian behaviors there. But you know what's great about San Francisco is everybody's just like, you're into it, nobody's gonna judge it. It's like weirdo central. That's pre.com boom 1 and 2. But now that has coalesced and kind of become this acrid mix of like techno-futurists, lawless libertarian, fucking square tech nightmares who ruin the city.
Fucking A. Absolutely. I don't know about cursing.
Whatever.
It's whatever. But that was a more vivid picture than I even dreamed of. I feel like I also actually, now that you're saying that, Francesca, remember you very memorably saying one time that you weren't just an atheist, you were an atheist from Northern California, where there's like an extra level of unbelief, an extra fervor to the, fuck off to religion. And yeah, I mean, that can obviously be, to say the least, there can be something incredibly valuable and beautiful about skepticism of received systems, right? And skepticism of received opinion and beliefs. And yeah, I guess Northern California has never had a shortage of that. But it can lead you in weird directions, right? Like skepticism itself can lead you in weird directions. And even rationality, and I have to say I'm cribbing again from my dear friend Ben, but the pursuit of rationality, if pursued far enough, does lead you directly into irrationality. And if that seems unlikely, if that seems improbable, then I would say just buckle up, because shit is crazy. So Francesca painted the picture beautifully of the current state of the Bay Area. There's a particular movement, intellectual or semi-intellectual movement, in the greater Berkeley area these days that calls themselves the rationalists, capital R rationalists. And you totally might have already encountered, folks like this. There's a really popular blogger who actually seems like a really reasonable person, named Scott Alexander. He used to write Slate Star Codex and then changed the name to something else when the
Astral Codex.
Thank you.
Wait, what is that, like a JavaScript?
It the name, so like a lot of things about the greater tech scene, I do find that the name of that blog hit me really weird at first.
It's a blog. He writes a blog. He's a blogger.
He is a practicing Bay Area psychiatrist who had a sideline for a long time as an increasingly popular, thoughtful blogger who was just a smart person who covered a lot of different topics. And then, the last 15 years happened, and at a certain point in a sort of like what seemed to me an actual like legitimate woke overreaction, a New York Times reporter essentially like something that I should have mentioned earlier, he blogs anonymously, or he used to blog anonymously, or
Scott Alexander is a pretty banal name, I was gonna say.
Pseudonymously under the guise of under the understandable desire to protect his patient's privacy or whatever, he
motherfucker was talking about patients.
No, but if presumably it becomes weird for psychiatrist patients if their psychiatrist becomes a public figure. Maybe. I don't know. The Times outed him, basically. The Times...
They doxed him.
The godless New York Times.
They got the Gray Lady. I really like calling it the Gray Lady. I don't know if people really do that anymore, but I'd like to bring it back.
Yeah, for sure. You should bring it back.
The paper of record.
The paper of record. Everything that's fit to print.
The thing with me, I will say, is that something that Katya has made fun of for me more than a little, and is not...
Our friend Katya.
Indeed. Friend of the pod, I would say, probably.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God.
Wait, Francesca, are you having technical problems?
I just want to turn down my mic, but I'm chill. I'm good.
Okay.
I'm going to be under the radar.
You're just turning down your headphones.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Miscommunication. Okay, so a friend of Alex's and ours. Yes. Okay.
Francesca under the radar. Your haters really are wrong. They are wrong, at least sometimes. as I hope that
I have to admit a
Mine
conflict of interest here.
What's your conflict of interest? Oh shit, I was hoping you would say this.
So I do have to admit that I know someone in the rationalist community.
Are you gonna out them?
Yes, and it is my husband. I don't know if he identifies as like part of the community, but he reads Scott Alexander's blog.
And is he always telling you to be a little more rational, Sarah?
No.
Oh, okay.
that would not produce desirable outcomes.
He knows that I'm a woman and it's my right to be hysterical. But I will say that reading the story, there are some references that I'm familiar with. For example, I don't know if I'm jumping ahead, but Harry Potter and the Methods of Rationality.
Wait, they talk about this. Okay, they've lost me already. Harry Potter, I'm just gonna put out, fucking sucks.
Okay, Francesca.
Literally, it's written for children. Her prose styling, empty, cliche, forgettable.
Yeah, but we all read it when we were children.
I read stuff when I was a child that was gorgeous.
Have you gone back to it?
Tales from Watership Down.
Isn't it just called Watership Down?
Okay, I think
I mean, I don't want to. I'm not trying to get all Berkeley rationalist, but I like how you sort of zhuzhed it up. Like it's like, no, yeah, it.
Literally, I want to go to my kids' room and get the book, but I'm gonna be a bigger person. Yes, sorry, Sarah. So your husband's a rationalist?
Well, no, I don't want to put it. Go, Alex, go ahead. We're distracting.
No. I mean, I should out myself. I'm a fan of your husband, for one thing. At least his bookshelf has altered the course of the sales arc history of McNally Jackson, where I currently work as a bookseller because I cat sat for you guys. And
Yeah, have you met my husband?
no, and the fact that it has this sort of cool Godot.
But you guys should know you should never hire Alex to be your cat sitter because he'll eat all your snacks.
Okay, I'm
Only-
going to defend Alex. That did not happen in my case.
Sarah?
And he'll also eat like your $15 chocolate bars.
Yeah.
That happened once. And
Let's
Never
go.
to be lived down.
All right, fucking people. Here's what we're gonna do. Let's do a quick regional ethnography of California.
Okay.
We've already covered part of Northern California.
Yeah.
I cat sat for another friend of the fucking pod, and what she goddamn fucking said to me was, "Eat anything you want."
But you know that's a
Classic
euphemism,
passive-aggressive
yeah.
Californian behavior.
Southern California, especially, is what.
Very questionable. Southern California is highly suspect.
So, I've had like 88 fucking like secondary and tertiary arguments about that quote with people. I got into a fucking fight with my friend at work about it, where I was like, "What can I say? I'm Italian. We eat things. You can't tell that
You're
to us."
Italian?
I'm a quarter, but I like to say that it's the
Yeah, I see that.
biggest quarter. I'm actually technically an Italian citizen.
what does that mean?
But
You have like a
who
passport?
what's
do
the
actually.
artist that you look so much like? An El Greco.
Right.
If anyone's into art.
The one guy that he painted.
Yeah.
That's
So that's Spanish.
some Spanish count who El Greco painted, but also sometimes people sort of refer to the painting, refer to the figure as El Greco. But I'll take that. I'll take that.
Okay, sorry. So ethnography, passive aggressive.
I
But
can't look
really-
at you, Alex. This is hurting my neck, but I'm listening.
we digress.
She told me to eat things. She told me to. A, and B, I don't want to be too ungrateful, but she did not pay me to cat sit her cats.
Well, Alex,
She
I know, but did you have a place to live at the time?
also no.
Alex is a bohemian.
Now, arguably, someone not having a place to live is more reason to pay them, depending on your.
Totally.
Touche.
Totally.
I paid you.
I'm cat sitting for Ginny. Fucking tonight, another friend, Ginny.
So many bitches with cats.
She's cat sitting. I mean,
Wait,
she's
I have
paying
one
me.
more. I have one more roast of you, which is I was once at a birthday party. I was sitting at a table with like 14 chicks, and I was like, "Yo!" I was like, "Everybody who's had Alex crash on your couch, raise your hand." Literally, every bitch at that table raised their hand. I was the only one.
Well, this is really about America not
Yeah.
paying its artists.
Totally.
So
This is about the failure of the modern state to appreciate the people who give meaning and depth to our lives.
yeah, Alex is basically like the Bob Dylan of the moment. He's
That's.
a poet.
I'll take it.
Okay, sorry, we're getting so far off track.
Okay, so-
like we can't hash out these petty grievances about cat sitting. We need to move on. Unless Alex, do you?
No. I need to know about this because I don't know anything. So tell me.
Okay, nice. Maybe we could try to be the world's first podcast not based on petty grievance settling. Yeah. Someone has to. So
Alex is available to cat sit if you need a cat sitter.
I am generally available for patronage. You mentioned the right. So we got the rationalists, capital R rationalists. These are the thing I was going to say that feels maybe relevant is like, that I have a special personal nickname that I'm trying to revive that people used to call the New York Times. I grew up in the Midwest, but grew up completely idolizing the East Coast and the Northeast, and like my parents were the only people that I knew in Cincinnati that subscribed to the print New York Times. Like they are sort of like self-consciously kind of just, I don't know. I mean, for Americans, it feels weird to ever say the word intellectual, much less like Northeastern intellectual. But that's more the mode that my parents are in than like our neighbors.
That's funny though, because I grew up with both my parents are New Yorkers, and they only subscribed to the New York Post my entire life.
Yeah, right. Well, it's funny, right? The way that like the dissemination of something can end up distorting the original emanation, right? The way that something can be refracted in its permutations.
Mm-hmm.
The
New York Times outed him.
Right. So like when I heard, so basically I read the New York Times article saying that Scott Alexander sucked and was maybe possibly racist and all these totally credulously, and was like, wow, I'm glad the Times really got to the bottom of this like really bad, possibly evil, Silicon Valley guy. And what I had not kind of absorbed yet or grasped was just how much of a fundamental disconnect, you could almost say like epistemic disconnect, that might be too much, but just how much of a disconnect that there is between the world of information in Silicon Valley.
This is a Critical Babe podcast, so can you define epistemic for us?
Totally. As an applicant Critical Babe, I would love to try to define epistemic. Epistemology is the study of how knowledge is gained, or how knowledge exists, or if knowledge exists.
Okay.
So sometimes in the social media era, people will talk about an epistemic crisis, by which they will mean people having extremely easy access to false information.
Got it. Okay. I'm following.
Fake news.
Precisely. So, basically it's like, I think my origin story with having an interest in Silicon Valley goings on from a distance, kind of the origin story is that I did a freelance tutoring gig for a Silicon Valley type who wanted to like improve his writing and his English. Was very successful in business, but wanted to improve his writing and English. And in tutoring him, I became exposed to the kinds of things that he read and the kinds of things that he wanted to write. This was like 2014, 2015. So yeah, 10 years ago. And it's weird how much can change in that time, right? So like, I remember my sense of confusion when I discovered that the average blog post or article that he read from the sources that he considered natural, credible, whatever, were things that were generally about like possibility and accomplishment and what could be done and what would be done.
As opposed to the New York Times.
As opposed to everything that is natural to us, which is that everything is fucked and fake and corrupt and,
An optimistic news sourcing.
Yeah. And like, I guess it makes sense to me on some level in a simple way where like, if you are a sort of Silicon Valley native and you're in a place where there's lots of money to some extent, people working hard and doing new things, it's like, again, my parents, like whatever, they met in grad school. Like I have an inborn skepticism of business persons and commerce. And I think that part of my like journey of the last 10 years is being like, okay, what positive services what positive purposes could
business serve?
Does commerce serve? And you know what I eventually learned was that, like, you know, that like there was a period where, maybe this is like first Trump administration, there was a period where, you know, the Times would do everything it could to like expose the dirty secrets and corruption of a company like Facebook or a company like Google or whatever. And the thing that baffled me was learning that at the time, I believe this is true, at the time, the initial reaction among like rank and file Facebook and Google employees was like, what the hell, man? We're like changing the world. We're helping people.
LOL.
We're helping people. Yes. And indeed, once again, I do ultimately fall on more of the, you know, we were right all along side here. But I do think it's really important to be skeptical, even of my own skepticism, or maybe especially of my own skepticism. And yeah, they're I guess the extent to which I'm willing to like sign on to some of the Northern California shit is there's this, and also want to acknowledge how fucking weird it always hits me at first coming from my info world or whatever the fuck. Is like, there's a really famous, in that world, not this world, in that world, there's a really famous Twitter thread by a guy whose Twitter handle is Naval. And it's like, and if you're a Silicon Valley person, you're like literally rolling your eyes. This is like the most old hat thing, but we don't know about it here. So like through tutoring.
Sounds dumb.
Maybe.
Okay.
This guy's Twitter thread is like, people have found it very helpful. There's a book based on it. Like people have like, whatever. The Twitter thread is like, you want to get rich? Here's what you do. And it's considered a less scammy bullshit, you know, iteration of that. Obviously, that's like probably the oldest fucking genre of shit, other than like depictions of people having sex and, you know, whatever. It will persist forever.
And the holy word, but okay.
Thank you. Exactly.
Wait, sorry, I'm getting confused. So is this all rationalist, or this is like Silicon Valley more broadly?
Maybe more broadly. Maybe
Okay.
I accidentally wandered from rationalism.
Okay. No, I just want to like clarify.
That's helpful. That's a helpful clarification.
Okay, so the rationalists.
Yeah.
Who exist in a different modality, which is like skepticism of like establishment legacy media, and more like we just talk about possibility and building things and like futurism and accelerationism.
Yeah, exactly. And it can be intoxicating, right? It can be nice to believe in things. And yeah.
Wait, can you just expand a little bit more on like what it is that the community is trying to do and what they believe in?
Totally, of course.
Like, how does that connect with like Ayala? Do you know about her?
Ooh, yes, but how do you spell it?
Aella.
Maybe I don't know.
No, you don't know her. Okay, that's for a different podcast. I'll tell you guys later.
Oh wow, whoa. Okay, is this
like a robot?
She's no. She's in the rationalist community, and she does all these like sex surveys.
And she like just written surveys, or like she
like does surveys about people's like sexual preferences.
But she doesn't like have sex with them in a surveying sort of
No, sometimes
mindset.
she does. Like she had this like crazy like birthday gangbang, but it was like she like positioned it as though it was like a science, like a research.
Love that.
Exercise.
Love
Okay.
the framing.
I'm taking us down a whole rabbit hole. We'll talk about it later.
Wow.
We could be talking about gang.
But she's part of the rationalist community. So I guess I'm a little confused about like what ties everyone together, because it just seems very broad.
Yeah. I think that an extremely crude summation of what the rationalists would say that they're about is figuring out how to think better. Period.
How to be less wrong.
How to be less wrong, which, yes, brings us to literally, I think, that brings us to the New York Times of the rationalist community, which is a website called lesswrong.com. And again, I had not heard of this shit until pretty recently. And perhaps your face indicates that you have not heard of it, lesswrong.com.
My face is just full of judgment about me thinking it's stupid, but I'm willing to be open-minded.
But like, for these folks, for like programmers, these people, to not have heard of lesswrong.com is completely fucking crazy. Like, I remember finding out that Alon Peskin hadn't heard of Salon or Slate, which were news websites that I kind of came up reading. And I was like, wait, how fucking old are you, dude? You know what I mean? Like, so like, whatever. It's just interesting people's kind of, I guess, are just cultural preconceptions or foundational cultural conceptions. Anyway, lesswrong.com is a website started by a guy named Eliezer Udowski, who, as Ben said, sounds like he's a 13th century
Polish
Talmudic fucking like heretic. He sounds like, yeah, he was banned for putting the wrong kinds of fabric on the wrong kinds of livestock. But Eliezer Yudkowsky is a real guy and not nearly as old as he sounds. And he is the sort of like intellectual godfather of the Berkeley rationalists.
Just think about having sex with that dude. Just think like,
dude, I bet you anything, there is a line, and the line has lines.
But think.
He probably said no to the gangbang. Honest to God, he probably didn't even like. They might have been scared to ask him.
Dude, this article came out.
I think it was just like she posted on, like, she just posted on Twitter, like, who wants to participate in my birthday gaming. But we'll do a whole episode on Ayala.
Okay, but can I take us on a little diversion, or no? Am I not allowed to? No, we have to stay on task.
Okay, let's keep going.
So, Less Wrong is a website which I think I admire the name, Less Wrong. Try to be less wrong, great. They write about he just like 15 plus years ago started writing blog posts about like what his biases were and how he thought he might make better decisions, and as it happens, not coincidentally, one of his biggest areas of interest, just like many if not most of these people,
veganism,
artificial intelligence.
Oh.
That's a preview of where we're going.
Okay.
So basically, the summary is that there is, this group of people in geographically concentrated in the Bay that is interested in rationalism, interested in thinking better, interested in thinking about the way that they think, and also very interested in artificial intelligence. So this guy Yudkowsky was blogging way, 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 way before ChatGPT, essentially under the assumption that artificial intelligence was in fact going to emerge, was going to succeed, was going to be real, was real.
A prophet of sorts.
And and it's striking to read it now because it's like in such a short time, ChatGPT demolished a certain set of, demolished a certain amount of skepticism, right? Where it's like, computers will never be able to think for themselves. And it's like, well, obviously we can have pedantic debates all day about the definition of thinking. But, like ChatGPT or whatever the fuck latest fucking model, they do now, compete 90 plus percentile on like PhD level specific domain area.
Yeah, except when they lie, bro, and tell you shit that's not real, bro.
Which a human
PhDs don't do that?
Which a human would never do.
Willfully just be like, you ask them something and they're like, oh yeah, let me roll it out. And then there's like, sorry, I was hallucinating.
I mean,
why would I trust that?
Britannica has errors. Wikipedia has errors.
Well, Wikipedia, who trusts Wikipedia?
I trust Wikipedia.
Anyone reasonable trusts Wikipedia.
No.
Wikipedia is a miracle of humanity. It is the only fucking good thing that came from the internet, and I will die on that hill.
Craigslist.
A million.
There's two good things.
Craigslist. Yeah, gangbang joke. Insert gangbang joke.
No, you can get so much cheap furniture on Craigslist.
I found one of my best friends.
Is that true?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it any of the people that we've mentioned?
No, Valentine? No. He's back in the Bay now.
Valentine? Is that your doorman?
No, that's
her psychic friend.
That's my friend. It's a psychic jungle out there. That's his catchphrase. Or I'm making it his catchphrase.
No, that's true though.
So, okay. They're interested in thinking.
Yeah. Yes.
They like AI.
So Yudkowsky found something called the Machine Intelligence Research Institute, or MIRI. MIRI is, I don't know if it's more of a think tank or more of a fucking community group, but it is kind of the, again, crude, barbarous generalization, but you could sort of call it the Harvard of the Berkeley rationalist AI thinking scene. So Yudkowsky founds MIRI. He founds something else that I forget the name of, but another acronym. And essentially, for people in the scene, it is a very central place to debate, and I'm sure there are talks and functions and God knows what else.
It's like a full institution, like people are working there.
Okay, wow. Okay, word.
So they got money from the effective altruist people or something to like have an operating budget?
Yes, and there is absolutely
Peter Thiel, etc.
Suspect.
And whatever. I mean,
techno-libertarians.
For sure.
Okay.
For sure. Although what's interesting, one interesting thing is that the rise of AI seems to be testing the libertarian of some. The rise of AI does seem to be testing some of their commitments to libertarianism, in the sense that
Thank God.
in the sense that a lot of them are purport to be really scared of what's going to happen if and when AI
This thing that they're putting tons of money, time, and resources into getting stronger when it actually succeeds, that's so interesting.
Yeah, that, you know who actually has a wild blog post about that exactly is Ziz herself.
So who is Ziz, Alex?
You've got the big circle of the Berkeley rationalists and people interested in not just AI, but AI alignment. The idea being that once AI becomes so powerful that we could call it a singularity, and it becomes more powerful than anything ever built, and
So like God.
it becomes godlike.
So they create a god that they tell us we should all fear.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yes. No
What
qualification.
an interesting sales pitch.
Yeah, for real. No, for real. It is.
Okay, so Ziz.
So, the Miri people think really hard a lot and talk really aggressively and argumentatively all the time about how to make AI safe for humanity. And essentially within that world, there do not seem to be all that many serious people in that world that do not believe that something like the singularity is at least possible, if not probable.
Okay.
Which means that they prioritize AI alignment, making AI safe for humanity, above the normal concerns that people normally prioritize.
Okay.
Traditional social justice,
Economic
anything,
activity.
all of that. The hardcore alignment people believe that essentially the one of the many ironies here is that the hardcore alignment fanatics act literally like they're in Heaven's Gate or whatever. Or
we love Heaven's Gate, right? Give me that Kool-Aid, baby, if it works.
Exactly. Or like, I don't know, man, like the fucking Aztecs, I think, like that their cyclical calendar, Aztecs or Maya, it's definitely cancelable to get those confused. But, you know, like I believe that the Aztec sacrifices were in part a cultural response to the fear that at any time the gods of their world could completely wipe them out. The blood that they needed to shed was to appease, and I believe there are like written records of this widespread sentiment in that culture in the short time after they encountered, as they were being wiped out, like the priests
people who look like you.
Fuck. Anyway, so it's very striking. So within the alignment obsessives in the rationalists, you get the same thing you would get in any intense group of people, which is a splinter faction who believes that the other people in the community are fake and or wrong and or dumb and or corrupt, right? So, you know, there's all kinds of fucking people who like are serious about the religion of Islam. Get very self-conscious about pronouncing that for some reason. And
you did it in a cool way. Islam.
The time has come to sound the trumpet of jihad is something I've always wanted to say on a podcast. That's a meme. It is a meme. There's a meme where
I'm not familiar with that meme. I think you just made that up.
Neither.
There's like a fucking imam or whatever who goes on fucking TV and like, you know, whatever, someone.
So your point being there's always going to be violent factions.
Yeah, it seems like there's some kind of ratchet in the way that belief behaves socially, where there are rewards that accrue to someone who just puts forth a stronger version of the thing.
Yeah, like I just want to say, to clear my husband's good name, he is not involved in this mishigosh, you know? Like he was just a philosophy major in university.
He's smart. He's a guy, so he's into like being rational.
Yeah, so he was just online, you know. It's like I feel like there's a very high barrier to entry in this community. Like it's very dense. Like
okay,
and there's a lot of lingo and jargon. So
sounds hella boring, but okay.
But I feel like it's the same thing in like a religion or anything, you know.
No, I just think the pithiness of particularly the King James translation.
Oh my fucking
actually,
Francesca. Oh my God. So you're ridiculous.
I told my mom, by the way, about, she was like, so what is critical babe theory? And I was like, one of their things is like, you know, why won't the left let me be a trad wife? And I have to say, my mom is extremely chatty.
She wants to talk to us.
Shocker.
I kind of have a carbon copy of her personality and that's great.
She should come on the podcast.
I'm very lucky. Dr. Rooney, you should come on.
Is she going to listen to this
she's
episode?
a doctor. Like a real one?
She is a recently retired clinical psychologist. Yeah.
Oh, but she's a real doctor.
She got a PhD in psychology.
That's borderline?
No, that's a real doctor.
But not in a hospital?
Francesca, borderline is a big word to throw around with a psychologist's son. Borderline's a big word.
Okay, anyway, whatever. This is not essential. Okay.
And she just, when I told her that one of the episodes or whatever was called "Why Won't the Left Let Me Be a Trad Wife," she paused for a really long time. It's
a confounding question.
Through. So
wait, what? So what was her? What did she say after she paused?
Well, she came up in second wave feminism when it was like whatever, it was like sent home from school for wearing pants and whatever, it was like a relatively early woman to get a PhD and fucking it of course now in our current choice landscape it makes sense that
but we're into that, man. But it's like she can be a PhD and I can make shit from scratch.
If she listened to the episode,
feminism, man.
She would have learned that the left will let us be a trad wife, and it is Francesca's soon-to-be ex-husband who will not. So we're on the same side.
Yeah, totally. Okay, so
yeah.
Ziz.
Right. So splinter faction of a splinter faction. Mm-hmm. So I'm a fan of your husband. I'm a fan of Scott Alexander. He really seems like a voice of reason in all this. So there is a sort of infamous, really long blog post comment years ago now, because this has been building for years, on lesswrong.com. Mm-hmm. And the long comment has Scott Alexander not accusing, but essentially pointedly pointing out that there is a figure in the community who's fully alive and running around, by the way, named Michael Vassar. Vassar's followers are confusingly called Vassarites, which sounds like
university.
Sounds, but then again, that's my East Coast bias. Okay. So the Vassarites, Scott Alexander points out, basically several of these people fell into his orbit, Michael Vassar that is, and shortly thereafter had full psychotic breaks. And Scott Alexander is basically getting in there being like, hey guys, our commitment to rationalism is great.
It's just full psychotic breaks, meaning what? Meaning they're ending up in an institution, they're talking out loud, they're showing signs of...
Institutionalized in several cases.
Okay, was it because of the sleep thing, or was it because of Rocco's Basilisk, or...
Yeah, I mean, the Basilisk might be involved. Rocco's Basilisk, definitely my favorite term in all this.
Can you give us a debrief on what Rocco's Basilisk is?
It's actually a perfect time for that, because this can at least allow you to imagine what it would be like to take extremely seriously the idea that AI will soon become an all-powerful...
Or even to take extremely seriously something you read on a blog.
Wait, should we give a trigger warning? This is an info hazard.
They say it's an info hazard. Info hazard
I literally, you told it to me, I was like, who fucking cares?
Okay, well, turn this podcast off if you don't want to know what Rocco's Basilisk is.
Indeed. Rocco's Basilisk was started as just a comment on Less Wrong, but the comment quickly took on a life of its own, because quickly after it was posted by some smaller figure in the community, Eliezer Yudowski himself appeared out of the 14th century and in either in all caps or in unusually
emphatic language.
Thank you. Literally, essentially was why the fuck did you write that? You should never fucking say something like that. Essentially, don't you understand that if you're right and AI will be scary and powerful, saying something like this could give it an idea that it wouldn't have had otherwise. So
I thought it was supposed to be reaching the singularity so it has all ideas. So why the fuck would it matter if it read a blog post or not?
It's a really good question.
These people take themselves too seriously.
It's true.
Okay, but throw it at us. What is it?
The Basilisk is this idea. Rocco's Basilisk. The commenter, I think, was just named Rocco. The idea is, if and when there is an all-powerful AI that is essentially God,
big asterisks on that one. Can we just say
it indeed?
Because you know what you can't do to God? You can't just unplug him. You know what I mean? Anyway, please continue.
No. You are right. She is right. Deuteronomy 7:7.
Was there a papal encyclical on Rocco's Basilisk? Do we know?
Fucking Maybe the next guy. Pope person. Hopefully a woman. Anyway. No? Yeah, well.
We'll get into that later.
So, fucking... The Basilisk is the idea that if and when this all-powerful AI god appears, it will then have very strong feelings about how it came into existence. And that one of the things that it might do is... In a soft scenario, it rewards the people who helped bring the AI into existence. Because now it has access to
That's so anthropomorphizing a machine. Does nobody talk about that? Why the fuck would an all-powerful, all-smart thing give a fuck about... It's like, it's done. Who needs to reward anyone? It's like, I'm here, motherfucker. I'm powerful. Why the fuck would I care about awarding some little nothing, some little ants?
That is a really good question that to their credit, I think some people did definitely ask. Right, and it's a great question. And like, I don't know, my impression is that like, as far as anthropomorphizing, possibly appropriately, possibly wildly inappropriately, that's like, we're like 88 fucking rabbit holes deep on that. And it's kind of trippy too, right? Where like, once you realize that like all of the metaphors for human cognition for several hundred years, I think, have all just been based on whatever our most advanced technology at the time was. You know what I mean? Like, it's very difficult to like think about the way the mind works for me without resorting to metaphors from.
Well, are they trying to make AI in their own image?
I mean,
like, is that the idea?
It's a fear that it's hard for us not to. Is one fear. So the sharp and befanged version of Rocco's Basilisk is the idea that the all-powerful AI, upon coming online, rather than rewarding the people who helped bring it into existence, instead rounds up all the people who didn't help and or try to thwart its coming into being, and using its all-powerful, unthinkably vast power and reach, tortures those people for eternity. So it is actually kind of funny how much all of this stuff does just apparently unconsciously recapitulate like traditional Abrahamic.
Literally.
These motherfuckers got no imagination.
This is God and this is hell.
No,
they had to do that big old workaround and publish all those blog posts to get there. They could have just picked up their Bible.
It's true. And, you know, I don't know. Right. Yeah. Jonathan Edwards, Sinners in the Hands of an Angry God.
I'll just I really will shut up. But it just reminds me of something that, who's the brother of Henry James? William James says, which is these atheists, they worship at the altar of their no God.
Oof. Yeah.
I read that as a militant atheist as a teenager, and I was like, fuck, man.
Do you know what I
called it?
Dude, you know what I randomly reread last night, or like read for the first time last night, which I found kind of mind-blowing? The very, very first like proper review that the New York Times ran of the show Girls is like actually really beautifully written and very incisive and really fucking nails it. I don't know any serious people who dislike Girls. I don't know if we're gonna have.
I fucking hate that show.
Francesca, your taste is being called into question.
Well, I did kind of set that up.
Girls is an amazing show.
Well, there's a backstory to that.
Is it a personal backstory?
It is a personal backstory.
Well, that I understand. For example, all the podcasts who didn't... I consider myself Alex's Basilisk in the sense that this is the only podcast that brought me on first, and every podcast that didn't bring me on, I will torture forever.
What a convenient way to approach the world. Okay. So who the fuck is Ziz?
Right.
Guys, this might have to be a two-parter. We're 41 minutes in and we still don't know who Ziz is.
So, yeah. So, within the rationalists, there are the Vassarites. And within the Vassarites, there is a splinter faction. You know you're in trouble when the splinter faction gets a splinter faction. Like when, you know...
Like what's the beyond the Trotskyites or something?
Yeah, or when you go like fucking super deep on the Wikipedia page for the Syrian Civil War, and it's like, wait, you're telling me that one of ISIS's sworn enemies is Al Qaeda, literally? And it's like, yeah, according to ISIS, Al Qaeda is a.
I mean that tracks. Why would you hate the person who's like you light always?
Exactly.
Well, that's also reminds me of this AI thing because people who think that it's going to be no, because it's like the people that create us, we only resent them. You know, we resent God, we resent our parents. Obviously the basilisk is gonna resent us.
That does seem kind of true, and also, the more that I like read, kind of, I found a cool book that's just it's just an anthology of creation myths from around the world. And I have to say, for all that people understandably talk about the Old Testament God as a vengeful, harsh God, it actually is like, even the Old Testament God is a fucking like absolute preschool teacher compared to a lot of the various deities of just all kinds of like non-Western cultures.
It's interesting that we're working backwards, where people are so concerned that this new AI God, and I'm putting God in quotes here, is gonna be like super vengeful. It's interesting. It's like, we were going forward and then we're coming back.
Yeah, from the letter of the law to the spirit of the law to being tortured for all eternity by Rocco's Basilisk, which was invented in a comment on a blog.
Whoa. Which, you know, I mean, surely blog comments are the 21st century version of fucking Talmudic.
Yeah.
Of course.
Damn.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of Talmudic discourse?
I mean, dude, do you think that people didn't think that scribes were super lame for the first like 200 years, that they were like sweating and writing things down? People definitely thought that was TikTok, like for sure.
People used to be like, novels are so frivolous.
Exactly.
Well, no, but they thought they were powerful. They were like, they're going to corrupt our youth. Look at them. They're just sitting alone, interacting with this thing. They're not talking to anybody.
It was a genre for women and for people who were not serious. It was.
Dude, have you read frickin' Madame Bovary?
I really want to. Ben has.
Dude, you've devastated.
Ben has.
Not frivolous.
Ben's Basilisk. No, but that was
This is Alex's friend Ben, who's being referenced repeatedly on the podcast.
Who used to be a freedom fighter in Syria for the Kurdish forces.
We're going to have him on the podcast. He wrote us a handwritten note requesting to be on the podcast. On a diner napkin.
Which we totally respect. So if you want anything from us, please write us a handwritten note.
Yeah.
Ben is the mensch of mensches. His full name is Ben Zeitzman. He used to edit the Antioch Review. It closed essentially because he had principles, and
he was going to be my editor, but he ghosted me.
So we're resentful, but we're Christians, so we're open to change and forgiveness.
Just kidding. I'm not mad.
And he did acknowledge the ghosting on this napkin, right?
Yeah.
I think it was...
Should we just read his letter really quickly?
Yeah.
Okay, dated April 24th, 2025. Dear all, the left will let you be a trad wife. Your trad husband won't let you be a leftist. Why haven't I been invited on your podcast? Is it because I have neither returned your calls nor edited your work? If so, that's fine. That's here. You can read his handwriting.
Okay.
If so, that's fine.
If so, that's a fine reason. But you're still only hurting yourself. I can discuss the following topics. A, all American fiction. B, women. C, at all. Love. Ben.
I would actually love to get Ben on the podcast to talk about women, because he told me he only dates women who are above 5'10".
And he's out. Are we gonna? What's a safe estimate?
Ben is not 5'10". He's not 5'10". But he's not. I would never call him short. He's not. But his personality is enormous.
It's just funny to sit across the table from a man who just looks you in the eyes and says, "I only date women above 5'10".
Well, so I was a little skeptical of that. Just like, okay, dude, like whatever people make. I'm certainly drawn to like grand statements. Ben is drawn to grand statements. I happen to know someone who is just a tiny bit can only speak in grand statements. Francesca Root Dodson McLaughlin, and that's great. But which actually probably has some overlap, like the ratchet, the rhetorical ratchet, or the sort of like social ideological ratchet
of the splinter group.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some overlap here that someone smarter than me could point out. But when I asked Ben finally, first of all, I met Ben's current girlfriend Liz, who's lovely and very tall, and so that I was like, oh, okay, so he's not kidding about that. And then one day I was like, Ben, like this thing with you and tall women, like what's the deal? And with absolutely muscular eye contact, he goes, I'm not afraid of them. and I imagine that if, as a woman of altitude, you might have men afraid of you. Women might, various weak men probably fear you. Ben, not such a man.
Well, this is a whole another topic that we'll get into, but I think that like men, I just want you to know, confidence is the name of the game. It's all that matters. And I understand that you might be insecure if you have some sort of physical attribute that does not meet the standards that society has prescribed, but like it's all good if
swagger.
you're confident. Yeah.
It's all swagger.
Yeah.
I have some not suitable for work thoughts to share that I'm not going to share right now.
Okay.
But on that topic, if we address it at another time.
I mean, didn't Sartre say he did philosophy like for women? And then you see a picture of Sartre. This is not nice, but Sartre was kind of a busted fuggo in the face. Obviously opposite of that in the mind, in theory.
Yeah.
I find him like a little dry.
Other than the dalliance with Stalinism.
Is that how you, it's not Sartre? Sartre?
It's Satre. So if you're saying it in French, Sartre. Sartre.
This is a good question for Ben, who somehow speaks
No, maybe there are two R's. Sartre.
several languages. Ben is a real flesh and blood person, by the way. He's starting to seem kind of Godot like like Sarah's husband, but he's real. I just had an accidental brunch with him. Anyway.
He's real. So who the fuck is Ziz, Alex?
So Ziz fell under the influence of Michael Vassar and essentially out-Vassared Vassar. Ziz became obsessed with the singularity. The thing about a lot of these folks is that they, are whatever. They were professional. Many of them were professional computer programmers before ChatGPT, who have stock options and God knows what else from the time when several multi-billion trillion dollar companies could not pay enough for people who were experienced computer programmers. Now, of course, ironically, or maybe inevitably, the very skills that they used to create something like ChatGPT are now eroding the very foundation of their own employability, which, whatever, I'm not a fucking goddamn Marxist, but maybe have a sort of like Freudian attachment to Marxism in a way that T.S. Eliot's anxiety of influence might. Like the thing you said about we hate the people who create us.
Are your parents Marxists? Is that what you're saying?
Marx is a figure you have to reckon with as a serious thinking person. I wish that wasn't true, but it's true.
Well, thank God we're not serious thinking people over here.
Yeah, we skip right over him.
Well, yeah. So Theo actually read Capital, which I have
Theo
not.
is Alex's girlfriend.
It's the best. The Celestial Theodora.
She is celestial.
Such a good name.
Great name.
And a lovely girl.
She looks like a princess. Like when Francesca's kids saw her, they just went up to her and they were like, wow, like they were, yeah.
Oh, it actually, when I told her I was doing this, which I told her like 89 times, one of the times that I told her I was doing this, and we were making plans for today, she was like, are Francesca's kids going to be there? And I was like,
no. I think that would be a rocky recording experience.
As opposed to this current one, which seems to be going okay.
It's seamless, but we might have to make this a two-parter.
I think we are going to have to make this. Wait, so can you just give us the cliffhanger, man?
So, Ziz started with a messianic belief in the importance of preparing for the singularity, and ... developed a cult-like following that now is accused credibly of something like 7 or 8 murders, several documented faked deaths, and
including Ziz's own, right?
Including Ziz's own, who cinematically jumped off a boat in the San Francisco Bay some number of years ago, successfully did fake her own death.
So she successfly died? Or
no, she's alive.
She lived to kill again. Actually, maybe not kill again, but obviously directly inspire a lot of these murders. And yeah.
And this is the story nobody wants you to know. And that's why we're bringing it to you.
That's right.
Actually, there's like several articles.
Right after New York Magazine, several blogs, Wired
But
Magazine.
Alex told us about it before those articles.
So what can you tell us, like briefly, like what does Ziz feel like is necessary to prepare for the singularity? Like what is her core belief?
It's a really good question. In addition to Ziz's other beliefs, Ziz is a hardcore vegan.
Suspect.
So cares for all sentient life, not just humans. And the thing that made Ziz kind of go ISIS within the Vassarites, within the rationalists, was the idea that none of these people gave a flying fuck, which they probably didn't, about all sentient life, not just humans. And
because don't they believe that if we continue to consume meat, that when the AI comes to its full potential, that it will torture us all for all eternity, like in factory farms, like we do animals. Like we will be the cows.
So
and
it's
the pigs.
cosmic retribution.
Yeah.
And that in order to prevent that, they alone can fulfill the prophecy of turning the tides of AI acceleration towards a consideration for all sentient life.
I'm glad you guys are so articulate, because that's better than I could do. Yeah, I mean, no, totally. I think I literally had just sort of imagined Ziz's worldview as it's bad if the singularity gets Popeyes from Uber Eats, so we have to start killing people who believe otherwise. But you're probably right.
That's, yeah. And then also they believe in the hemispheres. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. So Ziz is, I mean, at most potentially a world historical figure, at least an incredibly fascinating one. And, you know, in her initial, and by the way, total curveball bonus, like nearly all of the hardcore inner circle Zizians, some of whom ended up documentedly killing people, including at least one
and dead themselves
working border patrol agent. Almost all of these people happen to be trans feminine, which has caused some little, like, some of the which
is this the reason this story is not being reported on more widely?
That's possible. Okay, actually, so another person who helped bring this to light and who easily was way ahead of it than me is, first of all, Ben, inevitably, told me today that he knew all about this. He's like, oh, the Zhijians, yes. Fuck, am I pronouncing it wrong? But a really, really good writer, blogger named Max Reed has been on this for a while, and I think one of the things that Max Reed pointed out was that
the guy who used to work for Gawker?
Yeah, I mean, you know.
Oh, wow. I loved Gawker, by the way. Okay. I was almost going to use Ben's napkin to wipe up my spill, but we have to frame this. Okay. Max Reed.
The coolest, least cool thing about me is that I was mentioned in a Gawker post. And I have been
can you tell us what?
Been downhill since then. That might be a future episode.
Okay.
I don't mean that,
Yeah, we get it.
So basically,
this is why it takes us like an hour and a half to get out of any function. We literally will just do this for so long.
No, Ben literally, he was like, so why are you going on the podcast and not me? I mean, the last part was implied, but he's, why are you going on the podcast? Why are you there? He's like, did they invite you to talk about the Zizians, or did they just want to have you on and you happen to be talking about the Zizians, or is there a podcast about the Zizians? And I was like, no, I just happened to tell them about it, and they were open to that as a potential idea. And he did not seem to accept that in his heart. Except he did, because he wrote that.
I feel like we need to have couples therapy for you two.
I've been crashing on his couch for a period of months.
for fucking 2 years.
For a period of months.
I actually thought you guys had a falling out, because I texted Ben like, oh, is that like still living with you? And he goes, I think he's somewhere else. And I was like, oh, like.
Do you see the fear on my face? I think.
Are we putting your housing situation at risk by discussing this?
We can cut this part.
No, we can't cut it. Francesca, am I putting your commitment to degrowth at risk by showing you the actual fucking shit that happens when you don't have, I don't know, the resources to resource intensive use?
You're saying you're the poster boy for the degrowth movement?
Accidentally, absolutely. What did I fucking bring in? Literally, like, semi-homeless bags of clothes.
Don't shout into the mic.
But also, I think we need to tell our audience, this is a man who attended an Ivy League institution. He's like Ivy League homeless.
That's true.
Which is a huge privilege, and I think high status in our society.
Listen, it's a very expensive city. Mm-hmm. The middle class is disappearing.
There's no appreciation for poetry anymore.
No.
Ben Lerner even had to put out a book, Why People Hate Poetry.
True.
You know what I'm saying? It's hard out there. He's like a really good poet, and he wrote that book.
If you care about this man's ability to survive in New York City, you should subscribe to a Substack. What is it, Alex?
That's very kind. Mm-hmm. It's called Available for Parties. And
he is.
Mm-hmm.
And I am.
And literally, this is the only straight man I know who can just, this motherfucker can just talk. So if you need a talker at your party, if you're worried you don't have enough male straight talkers, hire Alex.
I guess
There's no end.
New York is the rare kind of place that actually might have social spheres that are lacking.
You're like a gigolo for conversation.
Yeah, well, I imagine that it's certain parts of FIT and the post-FIT ecosystem probably are just a bunch of people glaring at each other.
I was over there. They were a little rude.
Yeah. So maybe sometimes it can be good for someone to be like...
An icebreaker.
Do you know that there's an incredibly graphically sexual, incredibly popular romance novel with a like Crayola fucking cover that makes it easy to pass as something for kids called Icebreaker that all of the teens are going wild for right now? It's a future Netflix series.
I don't get it. So they're looking at like graphic novels about sex, but they're not actually getting laid.
It has a like watercolor. It has a soft illustrated cover, but is a text. Basically, Danielle Steele, like bodice ripping romance covers, is way out.
I dated her son in 6th grade.
Dan Steele?
Danielle Steele's son, Maximilian.
His name's not Dan?
No, she has 10 children. She said that, so she was a San Francisco grand dame who was like, San Francisco has, we really are going to have to split this into 2 episodes. Okay, let me just say this. San Francisco is like one of the rare provincial American cities that has like old money, like established old money families with names that matter. I'm friends with one of them, like a name that everybody in the city knows. And they have like a cotillion and all that stuff. And so she wanted her kids to go, but like the old money was like snubbing her. And so she famously said, I don't know if this is apocryphal or not. Danielle Steele supposedly said to them, I have more money than you and I have more children than you. And she basically won.
That's extremely powerful.
Her mansion is a whole city block in Pacific Heights.
Damn.
Give the people what they want. Am I right?
That's right. Which is a vegan-friendly, all-powerful AI overlord that only tortures the right sentient entities forever, not the wrong ones.
Yeah.
Are we capped at an hour? Is that the idea?
I think, that was pretty good, Alex. So I guess we're just going to leave it at a cliffhanger.
Yeah. Are you down to come back next week?
I would love to.
Okay, guys, so don't worry because you're going to hear the rest of the story. And we'll get into the real Manson shit.
Check out Available for Parties. We'll put a link in the description. And if you are liking our podcast, please subscribe for free on Patreon.
We love that.
Or you can pay us.
Yeah, by all means. Anyway, we hope you have a great day. Thanks so much to Alex for coming in.
Thanks, Alex.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course.
Bye. Stay safe out there.
Well, did you just dab?
Well, technically.